we know for sure that it's impossible that we don't go through this gap. Why? Because if we try to not go through this gap, now we have two options. The first option is that we don't enter this entire region like at all. But if we try to do so, and we try to not enter this region, like this means that all of those cells, for example, let me just think at those, must be horizontal recoils of some kind, because those are not being involved in vertical stuff. But all of those, like they can't all be horizontal recoils altogether. Why I'm talking about that? Just because of this long stripe of 2, 3, 4, 3, and 2, that in this case would necessarily be recoiled by using just this area. And this is not possible just because if you try, I mean, you can also try to count, but if you just want to not do that, you're starting from here. You're not entering here and you're not going through here. How can you just reach those and somehow recoil stuff? I mean, okay, clearly you can recoil those two, but then you just can't recoil the one above, and the problem just rises because, I mean, okay, maybe you say I'm gonna go up and then I'm trying to recoil those afterwards. That's fine. Like, imagine that you can do that, and then you continue and you're clearly not reaching these. There's no way you go up enough to go down and then recoil all of those, because like, for example, here we have 4. How can you place those cells here? Even making this horizontal move, like there is just not enough space in the puzzle. But all of this means that the only way to not use this is that the end of the puzzle is here somehow. And now I have a problem, because even if I want the end of the puzzle to be here, this means that I must recoil everything that is inside here from this side. What I mean with that? Like, imagine that I'm just doing, I don't know, I'm entering this side, because at a certain point I must enter this. Like, imagine that you do some stuff and then return down and then go here, okay? Now, if you want to recoil as much stuff as possible, I mean, you can do that. When you do that, now the question is, how can I recoil this cell? Why I'm telling that this is a problem? I'm saying this is a problem because I can't recoil this cell in any situation unless I recoil that before, and so somehow I stop here. But if I stop here, then this cell will never be recoiled, because there is nothing that can recoil this cell. It's too much to the left to be recoiled by something that goes horizontally to the right. So you need a move, like that move would be this one to recoil. But at this point, again, this one can't ever be recoiled. So in any case, you have something that can't be recoiled in this situation. And this means that you must go through this point. Now, it's impossible to go through this point in this way because you have nothing to go down. And I mean, okay, you can tell, okay, but maybe I stop here. That's a good point. Because this means just that I must stop inside this area. But clearly this doesn't work, because again, this long stripe can't be recoiled by this, because you would need too many recoil cells to recoil this entire thing from the right. There is just no way to do so. There is not enough space, that's the point. And also, I mean, you want to end here. So somehow you're going in this direction, you're going in this direction. So all of those moves must take at most these, and like there is just no way to recoil all of those cells before. And clearly I can't enter and exit again because I can't continue up here. So it's like a lot forcing, and this means that I must go in this direction. This, like, pretty much the first step. Now this one just recoils those two cells, and so you must continue this way. And now we have a problem. The problem is that this one can't be the end of the puzzle. Why I'm saying that this one is not the end of the puzzle? Because even if you try connect from here, because I mean, at this point you must go from this point, okay? So you must do that. But even if you try to do so, and I mean, I can show you, and you try to recoil as much stuff as you can to the left, I don't know, again doing that, clearly this cell will never be recoiled. And because this one will never be recoiled, this means that I can stop here. So at a certain point I must go to the right to recoil that cell. At least that cell, I mean. So in other words, there is no way that I just end here, so I must continue up. But not only that, this means also that there are some very important restrictions here about the fact that here I must go here. And I mean, I must go through this narrow path. And now I can turn, so I must go up again. And now I must turn. So this one recoils here, and this one is still not recoiled. So please consider that this one is not recoiled, okay? Because it's important, okay? We will use that a lot of times. That's what I want to say. So. Sorry, still eating. At this point I can't turn because I have nothing to turn around, so I must turn here and make all of those moves. And I can't continue here, and I can't go down because all of those are not possible to be recoiled. So here you go up, and now you go up at least until this point. This is all forced. So let's see what I have into my screens. Okay. Now the question is, can I just turn to the right here? No, because if I try to turn to the right, now I can't continue. I can't go up because I don't have the possibility to continue, and I can't go down because those moves are not allowed. So I have nothing to recoil. So in other words, I'm forced to continue up and do that, recoiling this cell, and now I must go down, recoiling this one, and now I can finally continue to the right, recoiling here. And now at this point I clearly have to go down, and at this point I must turn here, recoiling this cell, of course, must continue down, recoiling the cell above, and at this point I finally can reach this move. Now I can't continue to the right because I would have too many moves from the, like in this direction horizontally, that I don't have enough space, so I must go through here, and those are at least 3 moves. But when I'm here I can't continue, so I must continue up twice more. And I have the same problem here, because if I try to go to the right, I can't go to the right here, and still remember that we must reach this part of the puzzle with one move at a certain point. So in other words, we must continue upwards, and we must do that is just forced for the reasons we already showed. So we have this. I think I'm not missing anything. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's clearly true. This move is recoiling here, of course. Yeah. Okay, can't continue, I must turn down. Can't continue down, so I must turn to the right. Here I must go down again, turning here, and now I must turn here, turning this one. And we are here. We are at this point, and we know that the ending is somehow after this part of the puzzle. So because of this, we must reach something that is inside, that is like at the bottom of the puzzle. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because like first of all, you see that you have this long chain here. Now clearly those 3 things are necessarily being recoiled by this, because from the start you somehow are reaching this and then you are continuing. There is no way you go up enough to recoil something that is here and then return down. Okay, that's just not working. So those three are just recoils from that side. But now we have a problem though. That is what Niv calls the Niverio columns. The Niverio column is a Niverio column that, the Niverio column is a column that Niverio thought it was very important, and in fact it was very important. And we used that so much time and so many times that we had to call it, to rename it Niverio column. Now, what is Niverio column? It's this column here that goes all around here. There is a reason why this column is important. This column is important because you have all of those moves that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 moves, all of these, that are being recoiled somehow, but not many of those moves can be, in fact, recoiled. Horizontally. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because even if you try to recoil some of them, like imagine I do that to recoil this one, for example, or even just this to recoil, or down to recoil this one if you do that, for example, and you recoil this one. Like with these moves, this one or this one, you're recoiling one of those two, just one. So like, I don't know, you do that to recoil one other, you go like 3 times, even remembering that you must recoil all of these, and so I don't know how you're getting these, but in theory you could. But then you have enough cells here vertically that you are not recoiling all of them horizontally, and still you have all of these as well. Those are a lot of cells, and this means that at a certain point in the puzzle, you must recoil stuff going downward here. I don't know how much I'm going down, I don't know where I'm going exactly, but I know that I must go down, at least for a bit. Now that going down at least for a bit means means 2 things. Or I'm going to recoil this now, for example, you do that, for example, and you recoil those things at the start. Or somehow you are going down and then somehow you are going here and then you are recoiling. Now, those 2 things are the only 2 options to do that. The problem is that even if you try to do that now, like this still means that I must reach this part of the puzzle, and there is no way I can return up to finish upwards, like forgetting this entire thing that is here, because you must reach this area of the puzzle somehow. So even if it's true in theory that I could go here and then somehow do stuff, I don't know how, but in theory you can reach here and then return somehow. Well, this is clearly creating a problem, because even if it's true that I could recoil some stuff, I'm not recoiling enough stuff, and also here I'm just not reaching much parts of these, so I must go down. That's the whole point. That I must go down at that point there, and this is important. Why? Because it means that I can't end the puzzle in the upper part of it. So I can't end the puzzle here, can't end the puzzle here, or here, or here, can't end the puzzle here, can't end the puzzle here, or here as well, or here. There are some steps that are forced. You can't ever enter those 2 things, so there is stuff that we must consider here, okay? Now, now that I know that I'm reaching this part I, here I can't go down, because if I go down, I would recoil this cell, and I can't. So I must go straight, and in fact I'm recoiling this cell. And this means that now this one is recoiled once, and not only that, but you're recoiling 1, 2, 3, and 4 at least. 1, 2, 3, and 4 at least, because the maximum I can get here is recoiling here, and then somehow recoil stuff that is here. And this is just the maximum thing that I can do. Like, I don't know, I do that, for example, to recoil as much as I can, and still I can't recoil the others vertically before I reach these vertical movements, okay? So this move must be done now, and not in other moments. Now, what does this mean to the world? I mean, to the world it means nothing, but to us, it means something. Let me try to share with you what it means. Yeah. It means that because I know that I must go down here somehow, now I have problems with this move. Why I have problems with this move? With the cell, I mean. Because there are two things that you could do with this cell. You could end the puzzle here, clearly. But ending the puzzle here creates problems. Creates very important problems. Which problems I'm talking about? I'm talking about this cell here and all the cells around. What I mean? Now that you end here, clearly this one is not the end of the puzzle. So you must reach this cell. Not only that, but you must reach also somehow this cell here that clearly is not the end now. So it must be like this. And the same applies for this one that also must be recoiled. Now, how do you recoil those cells? Because in theory, this one could be recoiled like this way, okay? Or this way. But every time you try to recoil this cell, you're not recoiling this cell. And the same applies the other, in the opposite direction. So what I mean is that you can't exactly... Hey, Pulonil. Hey, you can't exactly end here without considering all of those three things. So this means that somehow you must go up here to recoil this cell. I mean, you could do that upwards, but follow me for a second. Imagine that you are trying to do some stuff here. Now you have a time problem, because if you want to recoil this one, you can go in this direction, but then how can you return and still recoil down here? Because you are reaching from this side, and so you're crossing, and you just can't do that. Or you are going from this side here, and then somehow you go here to finish recoiling these. But now you have problems because those, because of time, can't be recoiled. I mean, this one could, you make two moves, but now this one can't ever be recoiled. So, in other words, there is no way that you end the puzzle down there. And Niv can say that I made my homeworks, because I tried to redo parts of the puzzle today to make sure that I can make a good showcase of the puzzle. So some of the madness that we had to try yesterday without finding anything relevant, I will not do them, because it's not needed now that I know where to look. So this means that I can't reach this one. But now I have a problem, because I know that something upwards here, or I mean, we aren't spending an hour checking the left side for no reason anymore. Yeah, exactly. Just for context of what we are talking about, it's very clear that this option that I was showing earlier is very forcing here, but sadly, you have a lot of different options that in theory could work, like this one, like this one, like this one, even this one, and stuff like that. And or even this one. And sadly, all of those work with stuff that goes to the right. Like, I mean, there exists a way to connect all of those and recoil those cells. Now, all of those situations create problems because you have some specific cells that are not recoiled, but it's very difficult to prove that it's not possible to recoil them just adjusting the line here and there, okay? It's not like number 46 in which the puzzle was so big and the differences between each part of the path were so wide that every change you made was separating too much the rest of the puzzle, and so you will never return recoiling that if you don't do that as soon as you can. This is not the case in this puzzle, and it's probable that you can, in theory, recoil stuff that is very distant by some moves, and we are doing that for this cell, for example, because this cell will be recoiled here. So why this cell couldn't be like the same? Yeah, so because we couldn't just do that. We spent some time here, but yeah. One of those columns is called Nif's column. Yes, exactly. Now, this column exactly is Nif's column. And we are talking about Nif's column like exactly now. Why? I'm also finishing my dinner, so that's a good thing. I will be a little bit faster then. Okay, as I said, we must make, for Nif's column, some moves going downwards here. At the same time, though, we must make some moves going upwards to recoil this one. Now, this is important, like very important. Why? Because this means, actually, that you are making this move, or you are making some other moves, like this one, for example, to recoil this one and this one. And in theory, this could work because you could go down and then somehow do that and finish the puzzle here. But this doesn't work because you will never recoil this cell down here. This is clearly not working. And there is no other ways, there is no other possibilities to do so, because you must go down here somehow, and so you can't just return here and do something to do that and then make the upwards move here, and because this one will get stuck. It's just not possible because of how small, how narrow some of those paths are. In other words, like, you can't do that to recoil, so you must recoil it as soon as you can, and so all of this is forced. And now, because all of this is forced, like, you can't continue here, you must continue this way, and now you must continue this way. Now clearly you go this way now. This one recoils this cell, you must continue recoiling this other cell, this cell recoils here, this cell recoils here, you go up, recoil, you continue to the left, and you can't stop here as well. Why you can't stop here? You can't stop here with your path. Like, it can't be the end. Because you must recoil this cell. And even if it's true that in theory you could do that, you can't ever reach that cell. There is no way to reach that cell. And you have nothing upwards to continue recoiling there. So you must continue from this point. And the only way to continue, of course, is from the right, is going to the right, because you can't go up. And if you try to go to the left, you go again to the left, and then you're stuck. So you must continue here. And when you continue here, though, you can't continue upwards here, unless this one is the end. But this one can't be the end, because this one would never be recoiled, the one below. So you must continue and somehow recoil the cell. So you must continue upwards, recoiling this cell. Now, in theory, this one could be the end at this point again. Now, if you look at that, it could be the end again. Let me have a look at my screens also, as well. I have some access to make. Just some access, not very relevant, but they will prove useful later on. So all of those are just x's. Oh, and clearly this one is x, this one is x, this one is x. You can't reach those, and those two are x's for obvious reasons. Okay, it seems I'm fine. Okay. So at this point, the question is, if I end here and so I don't continue, the question now becomes, what happens to these two recoils? I mean, I must recoil those two cells, and like there is no way that those two are horizontal recoils, of course, because this one would take this one and not the others, for example, or one of those two. I mean, so you can do that. So they must be vertical recoils. Now, is it possible for those to be all vertical recoils with the puzzle ending here? Like, there are two ways of doing so. One way is to recoil them from those moves that go upwards. But this means that you must do that near the start of the puzzle, okay? So I don't know, you can do that, for example, and then you go down this way, and then you go down this way, and then you go here, and then you go up. But then those two are not recoiling anymore anything else. And if you try to not do so, there is no way to recoil this cell without recoiling all the others if you are going to recoil those this way, because you have too many moves here. The other option would be to recoil those cells. Oh, come on. What did I do? Okay. Would be to recoil those cells after. So somehow I reach these, and then I come here, and then I try to recoil those two cells, and then come back to reach this part of the puzzle. That's clearly not working. So the whole point of this is that you can't just continue. You can't just stop here. You must continue. You can't go here and stop, of course, because you have the same problem again. So you must reach here. And this means that now we are in the situation in which we must recoil those two cells somehow, okay? And there are not many ways to recoil those two cells, because at this point you can't continue here and go up because you would get stuck. So you must go down up here and recoil there. You can't go here, so you continue here at this point. And now you can make two moves upwards and recoil this one and finally this cell. Now that we recoiled those two cells, things are getting easier, okay? And no, I'm kidding. Things are not getting easier. First of all, now that I'm here, I'm asking, could I end here? Now, you can make hard considerations to say that you can't stop here, but the easiest way to say that it doesn't end here is using checkerboard. Why I'm saying that? Because in this move, you have 353 cells. This means that you are making 176 moves. And each move changed the checkerboard parity of the path, okay? So, like odd moves, you are in the opposite checkerboard of the starting point, and even moves, you are in the same parity of the checkerboard. Now, because you must make 176 moves, you can tell that you must end the puzzle in a position, in a cell that is in the same checkerboard of the starting point. Now, if you look at the starting point, this means that you can finish the puzzle here, but not there. Like you can see. It's going like that, okay? So you must continue. That's the point. Because you can't end here. But now, my question is this. Can I go up? No, I can't. Can I go to the left? No, I can't, because this cell would never be recoiled. That's not true, wait. Did I forget why this move is not possible here? I think so. Did we ever look at that, Niva, yesterday? I'm just looking at that now. Well, at least I know that I must continue and that I must go to the left or to the right. And okay, forget about that. Just forget about that at the moment. I don't think we can tell. Maybe we had an error there, but let's see. Let's see, because it will be forced later in any case. It will. So, okay. So we know that we are not ending here, but we also know that we must reach this part of the puzzle. Now, the question is, can this part of the puzzle down here be from the start? Like you go here and then somehow you reach this part of the puzzle? The answer is you can't. Because when you try to reach this, and then from here you want to go up and continue, there is no way to make the vertical moves going downwards here, like anymore. You can't do that. Unless you do that exactly now, to do all of them, and you continue this way. But now we have a problem, because now at this point, to continue, I must go here again, and then I must go up. But when I go upwards, now the only way to connect is to do so, and then do that and that, and this move is not allowed anymore. So you don't have enough space to do like all of those moves in any situation. You can't find a way to connect, because every time you're using the wall parts of recoilings that you can do at the bottom of it, and it doesn't matter the order in which I go here, because it's a vertical problem, not a horizontal problem. Okay, so you go here, you can't continue up. You go here, you can't continue up. You go here, you could go up, but not up again. Here you can't go up again, so you must go here and then go up here, and then do so. This would be the only option that you could have for this. But at this point, you are never recoiling those cells, because you have used the entirety of this. So like there is just no way, because there is not enough space to connect this part of the puzzle exactly now. But this means that you are going through here somehow, and then after you go here, you go up, and then you wiggle here, you go down all the way, and then you continue here, and you reach this part. So this part is around the end of the puzzle. Okay, why this is important though? Because this means that from the start I can't just go here, because if I try to go here, I can't continue downwards, because I would recoil this cell and I can't. So I must continue this way, and then I go down, for example. But remember that I must continue, so I must reach these cells, and now this move doesn't work. So there is just no way for me to take this path with this. But the problem arises even if I try to go to the right, because then I would go here and then I stop. All of this means that to continue from the start, I must go through this path. This is like entirely forced at this point. Okay. At the same time, though, I know that this means that I must continue connecting those things. And now my question is, can I connect through here? No, I can't. Why? Because even if I try to recoil here, those two cells are recoiling this cell, so there is no way I take this path to re-enter, okay? So to re-enter, I must take this path. This is entirely forced, and I can't connect here. And so this means that because I end here, so like here, I must continue here somehow, but I can't do much more than that. It means that I can recoil a lot of stuff that is not around here, like this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, or this cell above, and then this cell, this cell, this cell, this one, this one, this one, this one, because you can do that, this one can't do that, this one can't do that, this one as well, recoil this cell, recoiling this cell, this one can't be recoiled. Remember that we are going in this direction in the puzzle, and now you can't make this move because you can't recoil. I don't think we have more than that. Okay, sorry. Wait a second. Okay, we're here. Just checking that. Just checking that my stream is working. Can I check? Someone is here? I hope so. And like taking a second of pause, just for a second. Because I need to take one thing. Okay. As well, okay. Okay, you are here. Okay, nice. Thank you. Continuing. So far, we have like a lot of pieces of the puzzle around here and there, and we still must find out how those pieces connect together. That is somehow one of the like complex things to say, but you will see that there is some interesting logic to do so. Let me have a look. Okay, yeah. Now, what I'm showing you from this point to another certain point that I will say is just what we found yesterday. And I'm convinced that we maybe missed some weak points in the puzzle that could have been tackled in some other ways, or the setter just missed that some options with recoiling were less restricted than they thought. One or the other. But as I did for the other puzzles, I am showing and I'm showcasing what I saw. That's the best I can do, at least. So, first thing that we must consider. From this point, I cannot just go up. Why I'm saying that I can't go up here? I'm saying that I can't go up here because clearly I can't go up like too many times, because those are 1, 2, 3, and 4 recoilings. I don't have those recoilings, okay? So at this point I must go here. So this could work, but remember, this one recoils this cell, at least, okay? And now those two moves must recoil this one and this one. So I must make this move. And now at this point, I must make this move and this move. That are two moves upwards. And those two moves upwards take this cell and this cell. So this is just entirely forced, okay? And now at this point I must continue here, so this one must recoil this cell. And now the question is, now that I know that the puzzle does this, question is about all of those moves that are not recoiled. The same thing that I said before, those are not enough stuff to recoil horizontally. There is no way to recoil all of this. There is a simple reason for that, and that reason is that now that we know that the end is here, we know that we are not ending here, so those 3 cells mean I must make some moves horizontally this way, but now those 2 must make some moves horizontally the other way, okay? So the only way to work here, to make this work, is to do something like, I don't know, something like this, for example, because you must somehow connect those 2 things. This is like forced to do something like that. And now my question is, how can I recoil the moves up here, those 3 moves? Because even if I find a way to recoil those 4, I can't recoil the other 3. I don't have enough space to recoil the 3 because I need the moves going to the right, and I can't do that. It's just not possible to do that, okay? So it's very forced because you like the easy thing to say is that you can't leave too many things to the left, okay? So you can say, but no one said that you must continue here. You could continue this way and then go up and then go here, right? This is clearly another option, okay? Recoiling stuff, but like here, okay, you're recoiling this cell, of course. So you're not recoiling those 2 at this point. So you're left here. And now you still have stuff. You still have stuff, and it's less stuff than the other version. Of course, it's less stuff than the other version. It feels a lot more simple to recoil here right now, because you could do those 2 things, for example, and continue here. So this downside works. But what happens to the upside here with those 5 cells? Remember that you need a move that goes to the right here somehow, okay? To finish recoiling this cell, okay? But apart of that, you still have this problem with 2 and 3, so you still have to do so. Like, you still have to make those moves like going this way, 1, 2, and 3, or similar. It doesn't really matter. And still, you need those 2. And there is no way still to recoil those 2 via horizontal moves going to the right. So the problem still arises because even if it's not exactly that single row, it's the fact that if you want to work with the other rows, then this row breaks. But this just means that from this point I can continue, so I must go to the left. Now, this is just one move that I'm making to the left here, okay? And I have the possibility, for reasons that you can clearly see because it's like exactly the same, I can tell that I can't do like the same here. I can't just go up. If I try to go up here, I recoil this cell, and that's fine. But now I can't continue. And now the question is, can I go to the right? No, I can't, because those are too many moves. So I have 1, 2, and 3, and I don't have enough recoils. So I must continue to the left here. And when I go to the left here, I must go up, recoiling something down here. I go to the right, recoiling this. If I go here, this is 1, 2, and 3 that works. And the other one doesn't, because this one has nothing to recoil. But this one recoils, and I have nothing to recoil from the right. So all of these just break, okay? It's just not working, like at all. You don't need to use the right side. You just break for what you have here. So you must reach this cell. Sadly, at this point, I have no problems with this going up, because now the amount of cells that are here, because with this one you're recoiling this one, and so you don't have the 2 and 3 here to do so. This move works, and this move works as well, because you could do that. So now we have 2 options for the left side, and we can't solve this left side, at least for my knowledge. There is no way to end this left side now. You must end it. You must complete it later on in the puzzle, in the solve. We will see when. Okay. Let me check the messages. But it seems there is nothing to check. That's good. Okay. So, what do I have here? Oh, there was another X that I had to add, but okay, that's fine. So, what I'm searching for is some restrictions in the bottom right part of the puzzle, because it's a bit restricted, that one, and so that's where now I'm looking, considering that now I know the left side. Okay. Also, we are at 47 minutes. Yesterday, while solving, at this point, I was at around 2 hours. So we are at least 1 hour earlier. That's a good thing, honestly. And now I can tell you that this move can't work. Why? To make this move, you must go upwards here. Why I'm saying that? Because if you try to go down, now you must make 1, 2, and 3 moves, okay? So these moves in theory work. But the problem is that you can't do that, because this move is two times, so you must reach this cell. And when you do that, and then you continue here, you can't do that, so you must continue this way. So you must you must make those moves. But remember that you must make those 3 as well. And those are horizontal moves, and you have only one way to do that. That is 1, 2, and 3. But then, if you recoil here before, you take this one. If you recoil this before, you recoil this one. So, like, there is no way to make this situation in a recoil puzzle. Okay? So, I can't go down. The fact that I can't go down here means that I must go up. But now this breaks, because I don't have those 2 recoils to make. In other words, there is just no way that this cell is a path is a path cell. Okay. Now you can ask, why is this so important? It's so important because now I want to ask another thing. What happens now if this one is not a path cell, the one above? If this one is not a path cell, it means that this cell, specifically this one, must be an horizontal move. And to make this horizontal, I must make something here. And so I must use those 3 as well, because they are not recoiled before. So I must make 1, 2, and 3 moves going this way. And now you can ask, what's the problem with this? Well, the problem with this is that somehow I still must recoil this cell. And this cell must be a recoil going to the left. And what I do? I do that, breaking the puzzle. I can't. So there's just no way. In other words, I'm forced to use a vertical move here to recoil this cell above. When you do that, you're recoiling clearly this one. This is just, again, forced. And now you must make those 2 moves. And now you can't do that, because this one could be recoiled, that's fine. But then can't continue down, can't continue left, because this one would recoil this cell if this cell is empty. So in other words, I can't go this way, I must come from the left again, so I must make those moves. All of these are forced. Oh, Donatello, it didn't take Niv 3 hours to solve. It took me, Niverio, and the Cogito 3 hours to solve. That's a bit different. Now, oh yeah, okay. Now what I have is that I can't make this move going downwards here. Why? Because if I make this move, considering that this part of the puzzle happens after I make the rest, this means that I can't do that because I would reach this cell. So I must make this move exactly. But at this point, how can I not reach those? I don't have many options. If I go down here, I must go up or continue this way and reach stuff that I don't want to reach. So the only way is to do that, and then down, and then twice to the left, and then down again, and then here, and then go up, and here. This works. This is the only way that this is allowed. But now I have a problem because of this cell. Because now this cell, this one, I mean, specifically this cell, how can it be recoiled? In theory, it could be a recoil from one of those cells, but only if I take one of those 3 before. But I can't take one of those before because I would need to make this move, and this move forces these, and those are 4 cells, are 3 moves up, and I don't have those 3 moves up. In other words, it means that this move must be a horizontal recoil, but where I make this horizontal recoil, it's a problem, because this one will never be recoiled before, so it's not a move like that. Unless I do both here, okay? But the problem... I will reach that in a second, but follow me for a second. I can do that because of checkerboard. Like the checkerboard thing is this one, not this one. So you can't just end here and recoil there. So this one must be a move going to the right here, but a move going to the right here is just broken. Why? Because when you move, you make a move like that somehow, like here, for example. Remember that we must make some moves going downwards for Nive's column. In other words, it's Nive's column that breaks, if this is the case. And so, because it's Nive's column, the problem here again, like this means that you have no way to make this move going down. In other words, you have a wall here and you must continue from this side. Okay. And now I must remember what the next step was. Wait a second. Okay, this is an easy point, and it allows us to say something more about the puzzle that is relevant. I can't make this move because I can't go upwards, and so this move is just a recoil, okay? Now... Niv, don't listen to Dama. Your column is unbreakable, like the Titanic. What? Okay. That's good. Fair. Now that I know this, though, there is a point. Like, I can't make this move to the right. Why? Because now this move would recoil this cell, and now this move would recoil the other one to the right. But now this means that I can't ever reach this cell or this cell. And now my question is, how can I ever recoil those cells? There's just no way. Why? Because of time. What do I mean? I mean the fact that here, at a certain point, I will make some moves here. So those moves must be recoiled after I do those moves, just for time. But it doesn't work. It just doesn't work because I don't have the option to do so. Like, it's clearly possible to make one of those moves, but not all the others. Those are too many, okay? So, because it's it's like that. This means that like this move is not allowed, and because this move is not allowed, this one must come from upwards. But not only that. Now this means that this move can't be made by anything else that is not this move, because you need this move. You can't use these and then try to force this one to be recoiled after, because you can't. You don't have anything to recoil from there. So you must make all of those moves. This one recoils here, this one recoils here. You must make this move. And now, same problem. I can't ever recoil here because I would continue this way. That's too much. I must go up. Must continue here. And you have this side. Can't do that. So you must continue downwards. And I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Niv, do you like recall this part of the solve? We are 1 hour and 10 minutes early in the solve here. Like in comparison with yesterday, I mean, of course. So, oh yeah, okay, I see. But now we have a problem, and that problem is what happens to this and oh well, just those two cells. What happens to those two cells? Like now the point is you can't ever recoil those two cells vertically from above. Why? Because you can't make these moves and then hope to recoil those for Niv's column. So it's again Niv's column the point here. Niv's column here means says that to do so, somehow you must reach those two cells. And so if you recoil those two, like you can't recoil from upwards moves, and you can't recoil those two horizontally. There is just no way to recoil those horizontally. Remember that like this one, and this one now are taken by those moves. Well, this one I don't know, but the other two, yes. So there's just no way for those to be recoiled this way. But because it's the only way to recoil those, it means they can't be recoiled. In other words, we found the end of the puzzle here. And this is a big GG, because knowing that the end of the puzzle is here means a lot of stuff. First of all, it means that from this point I must go to the right. And now I must go to the right again, taking this one and this one. And now I must go up, taking this cell at least. And now that I know this isn't an option. This cell must take this cell, so I can't go up again. And if I go to the left, like the point is that those two cells are just recoiling this one and this one. So this one must go to the right, recoiling this cell. And now I must go up, recoiling this cell down. Now I can't continue here. I can't just wiggle here because this one would be trapped. So I must continue to the right, recoiling this cell. Can't go up, must continue here, recoiling this cell. Now I can't continue here, so I must continue downwards. Now that I'm here, I must connect all of them together, because I don't have other options to do so. And so all of these are just connected this way. And you have these wild stuff all together. Now, are about to fill a lot of the Neve's column. That's the point, right? That you must recoil stuff here. But it's not just that. It's even more relevant. Why? For some reasons. First reason. Now, if I just try to yeah, I don't know, this one was had a problem, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, imagine that here you want to go to a left. That is allowed. It's clearly allowed. Now the problem is how can I ever recoil those two cells, specifically those two? I can't. There is nothing that can recoil those vertically or horizontally. So you can do that. But at the same time, I have problems even going downwards. Why? Because if I go downwards, and then I go to a left, now the problem is this cell. How can I recoil this cell now? There is nothing that can recoil this one, vertically or horizontally. There's just nothing that can recoil this cell. In other words, this move is forced to go upwards recoiling here, and now this means that I must make all of those moves, and now these two connect and recoil this cell. And this is important. Why? Because now if you look at this column here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 moves, and you have 1 and 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, in other words, we are almost here recoiling everything. And I say almost, because one of the cells vertically, of the empty cells vertically, must be a recoil from the left to the right or from the right to the left. But those two are clearly recoilings for the first two cells, just the other ones are a little more problematic, okay? So we have this. And now that we have this, well, this clearly means that now I can't make this move going upwards, recoiling here. This move is just not working. Oh, no, never mind what I said. This move is just not working, I wanted to say, sorry. And so this move, is fine, but now the problem is that you must connect those stuff. And the only thing that could recoil this one and use those two recoils must be that this one recoils here, and so you need something to recoil here before. And the only way to do so, considering what you have above, is to recoil this way. And when you recoil this way, you must go here, you must go down, this one connects to here, and now you connect. And this feels done as well. Am I right? I think so. Now, let me eat something else because I need it. Yeah, now now finally I can solve what I have to left, because now I can't go up recoiling this, because that would force this move, and this move recoils here, but I can't. So in other words, I must do that. So I must continue here, I must continue here, recoiling those two. Must continue here, recoiling this one, yeah. Must continue here, recoiling this move. And now from this point, those two moves are just recoiling here and here because you have nothing else to recoil. So this connects upwards and this connects to the right. Okay. And now, oh yeah, and now I can't go through the right side because this would create too many horizontal moves that can't be recoiled. So all of this means that I must connect through here. And so until this point they are all axes. And this means that those 3 moves are forced. And when you do so now, like literally there is like this move now forces this one, clearly. And now there is no way to recoil this one in other directions than this one. So you must do that, and you must do this, and now you must continue this way. Sadly, at this moment, I can't tell that this move recoils here or here, because both in theory work at the moment. They will not later on. Oh yeah. Now you have all of those moves that are 1, 2, 3, and 4 moves, and they are clearly recoiling 1, 2, 3, and 4, because you have nothing to recoil them before. But now this means that we have stuff for this. Why I'm saying that? Because those moves are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I have 1 and 2 that are those two, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we completed the entire column. Now that we completed the entire column, though, there is a point. This column is completed near the end. It's here. It's at this point. This means that this cell here and this cell down to the left here are not recoiled horizontally, because if I want to recoil those horizontally, I will take this one as well. And I can't take this one because this one is reserved to the long stripe of things going down. So this means that this cell and this cell must be recoiled this way, and the same applies for this. In other words, we have only one move in Niverius' column that must be recoiled horizontally, and it must be one of the first 4 of those cells. Now, now, like literally now what? Oh yeah. Clearly now we have this. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And also, now those 3 moves are exactly 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and we finished the S. Now the S of the Skunkworks League is done. Not only the S, but the wall bottom left and the wall left area are done if you don't count this cell. It is the only cell that must be done, and we don't know how yet. Now, now, well, clearly those 3 are recoiling 1, 2, and something that is above, that I don't know where it is, but they are clearly recoiling those. And Oh, okay, I see. Okay, this was a little bit hard to remember. But what was the case? No, I'm wrong. Ah, no, I'm not wrong. Okay. Now the cell above can't be recoiled downwards, because there is no way I reach every one of those cells before I return down here to take the last one here. I think this was the case. If I recall correctly with this recoil, this was the point, I think. I can do this. I do this to take this cell. I'm trying to remember. Wait a sec. I'm just trying to remember. Oh, it was possible. Wait, so it was not this. Okay. I forgot the step here. I completely forgot the step. Wait a second. Like, there was a reason why I said that this one can't go down and must continue to right. But I'm trying to remember. Dama, you should have helped me with the bookwind puzzle yesterday. I had no possibility to do so. I was working while you were solving that puzzle. And also, yeah, maybe. Did you finish it? And anyway, I agree, you should solve recoil puzzles, Isaiah. There is no reason why you don't do that. You have solved a lot harder stuff than that. Oh, you finished this after 3 hours. That's good. That's good. That's a good thing. Okay, the bottom left portion of this does not look how I expected it to interesting. Yeah. Hi, Bookworm. Hey. I'm a little bit stuck at the moment because I don't remember what the next step was here. Because in my screens, I said that I must continue here up above because I can't go downwards. But I'm not exactly sure why I said that. And I'm trying to remember why I said that. Why this can't go down. Because there was clearly a reason. But I don't remember what that reason was. Honestly. Was it eliminating more cells that can't be right? I can't wait for the 48-hour stream of using. Yeah, that will be fun. That will absolutely be fun. It will be a long stream, and it will be fun. Anyway, welcome you all. We are solving number 25. That is the longest solve, and we are like more than 1 hour earlier, considering the time I had yesterday. At this point, I was like at more than 2 hours and 20 minutes, considering my screens. So we are in a good pacing, but we could stay 1 hour here if I don't remember what my next step is, honestly. So, what the hell am I missing here? Or I forgot here. Because I forgot something. Was it connected to... Okay, now I'm thinking that maybe we made an assumption yesterday, and what I said about the fact that I had to go to right was not true. In theory, it could be like that. Because I think my argument was this cell here. The fact that if you go down, this cell can't be recoiled. But in fact you can, because it can be the last move here. So I think it's not the case, and I must use another of those things. Like, okay, I have an idea. That I used that idea after, but I think we can do that now. Not sure about that though. But I think it works. I think it works. Okay, let me try to explain. No, it's the same problem. I don't know. I was trying to use these two to make some assumptions on this move, on this recoil, because you do that after a bit. But it seems you don't do that now here. Hey, the Cogito. Driving home, then I'll be on. Okay, no worries. Yeah, the Cogito, but it's not the case. It's literally not the case. I proved that you can recoil this cell. Yes, it can from below. It was my... Yesterday we did that. We said that it can't be from below, but it was possible. I just proved that you can. You can recoil it from below. And we just... I think we missed that option yesterday. I think we completely missed that option yesterday. Yeah. Okay. I think it's not relevant. I mean, it's relevant, but it's not relevant now because of what I want to say. We can still make one of the moves that I had after that. Let me try to explain what I mean. Please notice that from the start, you can't go up and then go down twice because it will recoil here and you can't. So you can't clearly go here because you're just stuck. So you can't recoil from above. I mean, you can go to one cell above. Now, to reach this cell, you have three options now. One option is this. The other option is this one. And the other option is this one. Now, those cells, in any case you try to make those cells, you are using some of the cells in this in its same column, okay? In its column. Now I have a problem though, because if this cell is not reached, this one, I mean, you have 1, 2, and then at least 3 moves that must be made horizontally. Maybe 4, maybe even 4 moves. This means that even in my better situation, I must make those moves. In my best situation, sorry, those 2 are taken. And this one can't be recoiled from down, because I will recoil it horizontally here to recoil the last cell here. In other words, we are always recoiling 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those moves here in the upper part of the T, must be recoils that we do horizontally to the right. Now the question is, can I recoil those things that are 3 moves horizontally without reaching this part of the puzzle? No, because even if you try to do so, you can't continue down, so you must make this move. And if you don't do so, I mean, every time you do something, you must make this move. So this move is always forced. And the fact that this move is always forced is very relevant. Now, though, my next point is... yeah, exactly. My next point now is how many of the moves why I'm stuck? Because the next step I had, even continuing, uses the fact that you know how this works. But at the moment, I don't know how this works until I find out that I must go to the right and not down. Okay, I think I'm missing something obvious here. And I don't know what I'm missing. But I think I'm missing something very obvious here. Like, what the hell am I missing here? The Cogito says me either, yeah. Like, if you can't tell that that cell above is not above the square is not recoiled horizontally. And this is all Niverius' fault anyway, because Niverio is not helping, saying what's the next step to look at. Yeah. It's clearly Niverius' fault, yeah. I think I made a good choice starting with 25 anyway today, because this way we are not left with this one after when I'm more tired. But still, I would be very happy to understand what I'm missing here. If someone in chat has some ideas, please tell. Of course. Yeah, Donatello, that's exactly the point. That I don't know that. Let me explain. If I do that, I'm fine taking this. If this is what you're thinking about, can the cell 1 right 2 down from the diamond be recoiled horizontally? 1 right 2 down. 1 right 2 down. This one, you mean? Okay, that's a good point. This is a good point. Okay, that's a good point. If this one is recoiled horizontally, you must make stuff like this. And then go This is a good point, J40. Then we have 2 more on the right to recoil. Yes. Right, Jay? But yeah, this breaks. This breaks, but like this specific case breaks because now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 moves here. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 moves, and now you don't have nothing to recoil here. But yeah, exactly, because in theory I could just go here and here, then go upwards here, downwards here, and I don't know, maybe even that works, maybe? Not sure. Maybe this breaks here, though. Yeah, like, probably everything breaks, but do we really want to do that this way? Is that really what we want to do here? Like, Okay, Donatello said, I don't know if the cell can be recorded vertically. The only way would be from the start. Sorry, which cell? Okay, that's 10 minutes of nothing. Okay. I'm sorry. Judges and everything that, and everyone that is watching this stream or the video in the VOD. I'm very sorry. Okay, I have a very simple point anyway. Now, you're clearly not using those 2 from the start. So those 6 moves are recording 6 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is just like that, okay? Yeah, Donatello, the problem is it's always the same problem. This cell could, in theory, be recoiled like, wait, like like, let me have a look again at something that works. Like this. And as you can see, now from this point, you recoil exactly that cell. Like you see, this one. But, Donatello, you are the savior of the day, because me showing you this probably opened my mind, and now I have an idea to do so. To say that this move is not allowed. Okay, it's hard to explain, but let me show you. Now, there are two ways or three ways in which I can connect these. 1, 2, and 3, okay? Now, follow me for a second. My first option was this one. This option, I took this one because this option takes those 3 cells by 2 moves and 1 recoil, okay? So it helps me with using the column, okay? So this thing is very helpful in that terms. And if I do that, I don't take this cell. Now this cell will be important. Why? Because now this cell means that I must take now this cell horizontally. So I must make a move that goes to the right here. Now, please follow me for a second. What do I do here? Because remember that we must take those 2, or at least this one, and also we must take this one as well in the same moment in which we go down. This just doesn't work, because now if I try to go down this way and then here, I go here, I could take those 2, or even, I don't know, these, but then the other one, I can't even do that, but yeah, this one is not taken now, if I do that. So I think I could go to the right, but if I go to the right, I have the same problem, because now I can't reach this. And if I can't reach this, as you can see, it's clearly broken, because now that move down will take this one, not the one up. So, like, I don't have any way to do so this way. But now we have a problem, because if I don't want to use, that is the only option that I had. So if I don't want to make these, and so I don't connect this way, now the question is, if I do other stuff, like if I do that, it's even worse, because I still have to do that, and also I have those 2 not recoiled, so this is clearly not working. So the only way that works in this world is if I do that and then down. So in this way, this one is taken. But now I have this one and this one that are left not recoiled, so I have 2 more things to recoil when I go down, okay? But now, if I try to do that, and that's where I think things get spicy and interesting, I could still do that, of course. This is very fine and works very well. But now, I could do this to recoil the cell, and now I must make some other moves to recoil that other one, that are, I don't know how many of those. Like, this is not enough. This is not enough, so I must do all of these to recoil, I think, because if I do that, yeah, I could, I mean, yeah, I, like 1, 2, and then something else, but I must recoil that one as well, so I must do that, and then this, and then this, and then this again, and only now I can recoil, finally. But to do that now, this is like the only option that works at the moment, okay? This is literally the only thing that works at the moment, but now I can't recoil this cell. There is no way to recoil this cell at this point. This one in the middle. Because I can't recoil it above, I can't recoil it horizontally. And this means that I cannot recoil this cell from below in any one of those configurations from the start, but those are all my 3 configurations from the start, and so this one must be recoiled now, and so I must make this move. Whew. Okay. Okay, can we say that we are convinced of that? Jay? Anyone? Cogito? Donatello? I think this works. Now that I know that, though, we can do something very relevant. Because now this goes down, taking this one. And now at this point, and exactly at this point, I mean, we have a piece of logic that is very interesting. And this, again, about those two things. Why I'm saying that? Because now those two things must be recoiled somehow. And this one as well. We have the same problem again with the stuff that you have at the start. Why I'm saying that? Because if now here you go down again, you go twice down, you have this cell to be recoiled as well. And so you have 1, 2, and 3 cells that must be recoiled vertically. And the only way to do so is to do something vertically here, okay? Now I don't have many options to recoil vertically here. Because you must recoil those vertically, but you must recoil those two, or at least one of them, horizontally as well. So you must find a way to do that in an efficient way, and you can do that because if you try, like imagine that I'm just coloring to let you follow me. If I here go like straight to the left, and now I must go down. And now if I try to go here, I have those things that will never be recoiled. So I must go here and then here again. And then I have this cell. But now this is broken, of course. I mean, I could do that and I go down. But like I don't have 3 cells to recoil, to finish recoiling here. And so this just doesn't work. If I try to go down again, this one will never be recoiled. So all of these are just not working if I continue this way and then I try to go down here. Because of the fact that this one must be recoiled, and then I have all the other stuff that must be recoiled as well. Okay, so it's just like that. That you can in theory recoil those cells, but then you have no way to finish recoiling this one as well. So it's like the composition of the 3 cells above and the 1 to the left, or the 2 to the left at least. Okay, so. And of course, you can ask, what if you go down again? It's even worse because you have to do these, and then this one will never be recoiled at all. So you can do that as well. But because you can't do all of those things, this means that you must go here, and so you must go down here, recoiling this cell. And now that we must recoil this cell... okay, Jay says... Not 100% convinced that the bottom part of the L has to be recoiled horizontally, but seems reasonable. Okay, yeah. I didn't mention that, that's true, but I will convince you in a second about that, because we still must make that we must tell that you must do that in a second. So I will return to that thing. Now that we are here, my question is, can I go to the right? And the answer is you can't, for similar reasons. Like, let me just color again. If you try to go down, to the right here, then now you must go to here, and now there is no way to reach this. Same problem again. It's still the same problem. This cell is still very, very problematic. And if you do that, now the problem is another one. The problem is called, you do all of these, can't continue, so you must go down. Now, this works in theory, okay? This pretty much works in theory. But now, you have another problem. And that's another problem. That other problem is... you must recoil 3 cells here. How do you recoil of those 3 cells? you have those three, but this means that all of those must be recoiled horizontally, and I think that we can clearly see that this is not gonna happen, that all of those will be recoiled horizontally. There is just no way to do so, to make those three. So in other words, I can't go down as well. Can't go here because this one will never be recoiled, so anyway, everything here doesn't work here and here, so I must go to the right, to the left. Now I can't continue down. I can continue down, sorry. I must continue here. And now that I'm here, now that I am here, recoil this cell, of course. Now that I'm here, okay, sorry. I'm stuck again. Sorry. I'm stuck because I think we didn't consider now that this one could be recoiled vertically, because we didn't do that for this cell above, and we didn't do that for this one as well. I think. And still, when we finish this, we are literally at the end, because the next step is just there. After this is just... we are just out of the woods when we finish this step. Please help. Yaniv. Yaniv, it seems that yesterday we missed some options. And we assumed that this cell here was recoiled horizontally when we made this move, but there was the possibility that this one was the last move from downwards, from this. And sadly, to prove that required like 20 minutes. And to prove that it wasn't this move. And now we have the same problem with this cell. Yes, exactly. It's your fault, Riverio, because yesterday you didn't spot that option. Anyway, Niv, if you have an idea here to how to tell that this one is gonna go to the right and not down, for example. What's the point here? Not about the two vertical stick out cells. No, not yet. Absolutely not yet. After we found that, we add this entire thing, because this one goes connecting here, and now you have the 6, and you must do all of these, and then, yeah, but this is spoilers. Okay, I don't know. We just missed these options yesterday while solving, and I don't see how can this be resolved here at this point. I mean, but okay. Same problem that we had earlier. If I do this and I try to connect this way, and I don't want to, I mean, okay, if I want to go down and not to the right here, so I must go down, so I'm stopping here. Now I have 3 options. First option, I go here. When I go here, now I must go here. And then I clearly can't do that. I could do this though. I mean, I must do this at this point because I must reach this cell, so I must continue here. I must go down. And now, if I go straight here, this is not enough to reach those cells. So I can't do that. So I must go here and then down. And then from this point, I must do that and then that to reach this one finally. And now we are not using any of those. So we must take this one, but there is no way I take this one because I am in the wrong side of the puzzle. I do that and I break everything. So, okay, this is a good point. This is a good point. I can't make it like this way. I could do this way instead. I could do it this way. No, I can't for the same reason, exactly the same reason, right? Yeah, because of the half part of the T, the top part of the T. I must make some moves. This one is not working. This one is not working. This one, I could do that, but this is not enough. So I can't do that at all. Last option. Last option is that I do that. So I take this one, and if I take this one now, I'm not forced to continue here. So I have 2 options here. I could continue or I could not continue. If I don't continue here, I still can't reach those two cells, and if I do that, that's not enough, so I must continue down. And now I must continue here and take this, and this is fine, but I have the same problem with this cell being not recoiled, because I can't do that. So my only option is that I take this cell, and then now I'm fine on that part of the puzzle, because now this one is done. So this is working. And now that I'm here, I still have to find out a way to reach this cell. So this is forced. Now I must go down from here, must go to the left from here, and we still have to make those two moves vertically. So those two moves must be here somehow. So I must find a way to reach those. I can't do that because this is not working. So I must do that and then down once, then up, it doesn't work, and left, it doesn't work because I will never reach this cell. And if I try to do that, I trap everything, so this doesn't work as well. And all of this means that that this move doesn't work with any of the starting configurations, this one, or this one. And so this move must go to the right, taking this cell. And now I can't continue here, I must go down, taking this cell. Okay. 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 Now, okay. Now we are here, and now I know for sure that this cell can't ever be recoiled. Okay, now we are again in the track that I had in the in my screenshots, and our 1 hour I don't know, 1 hour gap that we had from the solving of yesterday now is only 40 minutes, but okay. So now the point is this, whatever I do, I can't ever reach this cell. So this cell can't be a horizontal recoil, it must be a vertical recoil. The only way to do that is this. So all of those are taken now. And finally, we know the orientation of this. Now that we know the orientation of these, now we know that those cells are not recoiled. So this is why it was important to know that, because now this means that we know this, and this is forced by this cell. Now that we know this, all of these, it means that now all of those 6 cells must be recoiled horizontally, and now I can answer J40 why it's not possible to recoil one of them vertically. Now clearly, those 2 are not recoiled vertically. Those 3 are not recoiled vertically, there is no way. This one could, in theory, if you do that. If you try to do that. But if you try to do that, you break everything, because you don't have enough recoils upwards this way. In other words, those are all horizontal recoils, and they are 6. And if you count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we are using all of those cells as horizontal recoils. And this is very relevant at this point. And I mean, really relevant at this point. Why? For many reasons. First reason, now that I know that I'm doing this, I must make a horizontal move this way. Why? I don't remember why I did that yesterday. Sadly. Wait a second. Why I made this move and not this move? Okay, I'm missing something again. Okay, now I know that this cell can't ever be recoiled, because if you do that, you're recoiling this cell now, and now this means that you must go up to recoil something, and you can't. Or you continue, you recoil here, and then you're stuck. So this is clearly not working. So this move is not, and this move as well is not what we want. At the same time, I can't do that. I mean, I could do that, honestly. Oh no, I can do that, sorry. I can do that. And I could do that as well. But I can't make this move. Why I can't make this move? Why I said that I can't make this move? What's the reason? What's the reason of this? I had a good point on that, I think. I remember from yesterday, but I don't... Niv, do you remember why? We said that we need this move. And this was because... I have on my screens a specific screenshot from this situation to this situation. So it means that we made a relevant piece of logic to say that. Because you cannot recoil all the cells to right vertically. So there were problems with this option somehow. Because of this, I guess. Must go up, must go twice here. 1 and 2. Let's go down. And now I can recoil those two cells. So we said that one of those moves must be horizontal. An horizontal recoil, I mean. Yeah, you're talking about those. Yeah, I see you're talking about those. I was trying to recoil those cells. That was my point. I was trying to do exactly that. Trying to recoil those. Yeah, okay. I think the point was about those two cells. You must recoil those somehow. And so, to recoil those two, you're forced to do this move and this move. But when you do this move and this move, those are just connected this way, and then there is no way to recoil those, because you must continue here. You can't go to the left, because this move would recoil exactly here. So you must go here or upwards. Here you just do that, but you break the one above, and here you make right the one above, but you break the one below. So it's all forced in that sense. This is absolutely correct. And so this means that one of those two at least must be recoiled horizontally, and so you need this move. But this move is not enough, because you have the same problem again, so you must sorry, you must go through here, taking those two. I think this is what we had. Yeah, I think so. And now that we are here, though, now that we are here, okay, now that we are here, I can't make this move going upwards. This could feel a bit strange, but I will explain it in a second. If I make... well, okay, the easier way to see that is that you must recoil those two cells. Because you must recoil those two cells horizontally, you must recoil this one as well. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 cells at least to be recoiled horizontally. So you need 1, 2, 3, and 4 cells to be horizontally recoiled this way, this forced. And now that you know that, it means that you go from this side, here, and now oh, yes, and now I can't make this move. Because if I try to make this move takes this cell. And so, now this move takes this cell, but now I have nothing to recoil for this, because I have nothing to recoil from down. And this means that you must make those two moves upwards to recoil those two cells. And now this one connects here. Okay. But now this connects from here, and now this move connects here, of course. So now if I try to go here and I take another move to the left, I can't continue, because then this one would not be recoiled. So I must go down in this word. And I can't go down in this word because this one is already recoiled. So in other words, I must go down exactly now. And then I must go to the left to take this cell. And now if I go down, I take this and this is fine. I take those two and this is fine. But now there is no way I take those two cells, because even if I do that, I will take this one and not the other one as well. So from this point, I can't go down. I could go to the left still another time, but then this connects down, and still there is no way to continue the column, like the row above. So you must go up here, taking this cell. You must continue here, taking this cell, and now this cell will take this one, so both go down. This one and this one have to go down, so this one goes down as well. And now, oh yeah, now this move takes this one. And now if I go down this way, I must go down again. I must go to the left again. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 moves. I don't have 5 moves to recoil here. So I must go here and recoil this cell. And now that I'm here, I'm clearly forced to go down, recoil this cell, and left, recoil this cell, and then those 3 moves recoil 1, 2, and 3. And we are done with the lowest part. Now, clearly, those two moves here, one takes this and the other one takes one of the other two. And I guess we can go to the next step. Oh yeah, I see. And the next step now is, let's think about this column now. This column means 3 recoils vertically. Now, one of them is clearly this one, clearly. Another one is clearly the one above, clearly again. But the other one must be one of those two. Now, it's clearly not one move going to the left, to the right here, because you have this in the middle. So, this means that those 3, 1, 2, and 3 are the cells that we are recoiling from these. And this means that... So this means that this one must be recoiled horizontally here. Now, could it be this move? No, it can't. Why? Because if you do that, at a certain point, you must recoil this cell that we removed, that we had from the start. And this move now means that or I go up and I break this, or I go down, and then there is no way I take a move going to the right here and somehow connect again. So, like, this means that I can't take this cell, and now I have 2 moves to go to the right, and those 2 moves must be those 2. And this means that I'm taking those 2 cells. This one goes here, this one connects from here and from here. And now here I must go down. Those 2 moves take 1 and 2. So now this move takes this. And this move is taken. And now I have the last 4 screenshots anyway. I have the last 4 screenshots. So... Oh yeah, sorry. Now we must make this move to the right, because we must take this. So we must do that. Now that we know that, though, we can tell what happens to above, because now this one can't go to the right, sorry, because if you go to the right, now you go down. Clearly you can't go down twice, there is not enough space to finish recoiling, but you could go to the left, and still is not enough, or you could go to the left again, and go down, and then go straight here, because if you try to go here, and then here, now there is no place for this to be recoiled. And then... No, yeah, it doesn't work. It clearly doesn't work, this option. So this means that... oh, come on. It means that you can't go through here. Now, you go to the left or you go down. Now... Oh yeah, okay, I see in my screens. You could, in theory, do that. Oh no, you still have that problem. Never mind. Yeah, okay, fair. So if I go down now and I go here, I have nothing to recoil above. And if I go here, I still have nothing to recoil above, so I can't do that as well. So I must go to the left and finally recoil this cell. Now that I finally recoiled this cell, I must go to the right and right recoil here. And now finally, we know that the rest of the end is done, and so we don't have to recoil anything else from this from the Niverius column. And this means that now we can go down here. And so we go to the right, and then if I wiggle here, I never reach this cell, in any case. So I must continue and take every one of those cells to reach the two cells that are missing. And finally, now, yes, now those three moves, the last one takes exactly the move that we were talking about earlier. Now here we go down, taking this, left, taking this. And now, if I go to the left, I can't go down or to the left, so I must go down, taking this. Could go down again, but I can't reach, so I must connect this way. And then I can't make this move to force this recoil, because this move will not be allowed. I mean, I don't have enough space to do so. So I need this move, and so this connects here. And now it's a matter of finishing recoiling stuff. Now this one recoils here, and this one down recoils up here. This recoils here, so this one must be recoiled somehow. And so I need this move going to the left here, recoiling this cell, and then this is complete.